Alright, we should be live right now. Just make sure. Alright. Welcome everyone to your Enhancement Talent review for AEW Dynamite November 6th, 2019. Thank you for joining me here, whether you're live or watching on catch-up. All the same, enjoyable show tonight in Charlotte, North Carolina. Unfortunately, didn't go, even though it was fairly close, about a 4-hour drive from me, but didn't go. Got to go to the one in Pittsburgh. That was a ton of fun. I'm sure this show was and still is a ton of fun, as they're filming AEW Dark right now, I'd imagine. I'm sure anyone who went there probably had a ton of fun. This was seemed like it would have been a fun show to go to, as most of these AEW shows are. We'll start with the big talking point of the Cody Rhodes announcement. And this was promoted at the show I went to in Pittsburgh. It wasn't promoted, more so that Cody just said it on Twitter. But nonetheless, there was some sort of promotion there that Cody was set to make a big announcement, and Jericho interrupted it that time. So now we're doing it again here. I suspected that they might WWE this and just act like there was never supposed to be an announcement to begin with. But we had it here. And Cody, in the ring with Tony Schiavone, announced that he hears the criticism of being a competitor in the ring while also being management. He acknowledged it, and he appeased to it by saying that if he does not win at Full Gear against Chris Jericho, if he does not win the title, then he will never challenge for the AEW World title again. And, he went into some other stuff, did a whole impassioned promo, even Jim Cornette on Twitter, which I know everyone's not a fan of Cornette, but I think it's worth acknowledging his knowledge for the business. And he said that this was a modern version of Dusty Rhodes, Cody's dad's Hard Times promo, one of the most famous promos ever done. And, I can't disagree with him. Like, this promo had so much passion and just realism to it that it was such a joy to watch. And, if everyone could do a promo like this, then wrestling would be so much more fun. Because this is the sort of stuff that encapsulates and really gets you interested in a big match like Cody versus Jericho. I thought Cody did an absolutely phenomenal job with this promo. And when you have him and Jericho, who both are pros at this point, it really helps build that big fight feel, which I feel like this match has. Now, the question is, to me, if AEW will be able to get that same feel for the guys we're not seeing in there right now. Like, Cody Rhodes, we know what he's capable of. We know what he can do. Chris Jericho, same thing. But when it comes to, the Hangman Pages, the Pacs, the John Moxleys, is AEW going to be able to put this same amount of focus on them when they are in these big-time title matches? That's yet to be seen, but I like what they've done with this whole Cody and Jericho feud. I like the addition of this stipulation that if Cody loses, he can never challenge for the title again. I think that adds a certain level of intrigue about it, because now it's not as clear-cut that Jericho will win. And I feel like before, it was probably a pretty easy prediction that Jericho will win. I still think Jericho will win. But now there's that level of doubt creeping behind, where if Cody loses, he can't challenge for the title again. And you would think that at some point they would want to put the title on Cody. But I don't think they're going to. If they didn't make this announcement, I would have thought that at some point he would have had the title, but I don't think that they're going to at this point. And if they don't do it now, apparently they're never going to do it. So I still think Jericho will win by cheating or otherwise, and that'll be the last time we see Cody challenge for the title. I just see that going that way personally, but it definitely adds a level of doubt, and I'm interested to see what they do with it. Yeah, the overall promo, though, was great stuff. Cody is just a great talker, and the mixture of him and Jericho is definitely working very well. But we'll get into the full review here, starting from the top, which started with the match of Trent, who out of nowhere is just being called Trent instead of Trent Beretta, like it's WWE or something, versus Pac. Now, of course, Trent, as part of the Best Friends, was out there with Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. This was the first time that I really didn't care for the Orange Cassidy stuff. This was the point where I feel like it didn't work for me. And the reason for that is that in the middle of this match, as the ref is somehow being distracted by Chuck Taylor, Cassidy comes in to Pac, who Pac is a very threatening-looking man. So when Orange Cassidy came in, hands in pockets, and did his silly little kicks, and did not sell any sort of fear or anything of Pac, I didn't like that. Like, I get Orange Cassidy stuff, I get that people enjoy it, but I don't feel like it's a good blend of having that with Pac, who I'm meant to be taking seriously going into this match with Hangman Page, and even that he hasn't lost a match yet. He's undefeated, but then there's this goofiness with Orange Cassidy I'm not really that into. But other than that, this was a fine match, a fine little opening match. The thing with AEW is that I feel like it's very rarely that someone can just get a convincing win, which I feel like Pac should have here. But they let Trent get some near falls towards the end, but eventually Pac hits a black arrow. But for whatever reason, the referee stopped counting, even though Trent did not kick out. But the ref did stop counting. And so Pac just put Trent in the brutalizer and got the submission win instead. So I'm not sure if that was supposed to be a 3 count and the ref wasn't informed of the spots and just stopped the count, or if it was meant to be that Trent did kick out, or if Pac was supposed to just relinquish the pin and then put him in the submission. I don't know. Either way, it didn't come across well. And then after that, Cody had his announcement, and then we got Private Party versus Dark Order. The winner of this match will be added to the SCU versus Lucha Bros match at Full Gear for the tag team titles. And at this point, as we noticed before the match, the ref raises bronze medals. Because you see, this match is for 3rd place in the tag team tournament. 3rd place. And they're giving us medals. Like we're in Pop Warner football and we're getting participation trophies or something. Like what about all the other tag teams that were in this tournament? Are they not going to get a medal too? Nonetheless, though, I liked the meaning for this, that they took the 2 teams that were eliminated in the semifinals, they put them in a match, the winner gets added to the match. And I'm sure that this triple threat tag match will be an absolute cluster at Full Gear, but the match was fine. I just still can't get into anything Dark Order does because I don't understand them or why I'm supposed to care about them. But Private Party win, thankfully. They get awarded their bronze medals. If I were them, I would have thrown that shit away. But Private Party was the right choice here. Private Party versus Lucha Bros versus SCU is going to be an absolutely crazy match, which I'm sure will have no rules and just do a ton of moves, and it'll be a lot of fun. After this, we had a hilarious Chris Jericho video package where he does a mock of what the Cody video package was a couple weeks ago. And in this case, it had Sammy Gueverra playing the role of Brandy Rhodes in the Cody video. And he's asking Jericho which bubbly he wants, and he's explaining the details of each of them, and that's when the music plays, and Jericho sort of fades away of his thoughts, and then he does the same thing Cody does, and kisses Sammy on the head, and says, "Sure." They had input from the Inner Circle commentary about Jericho, and some other random ones, including one that I found hilarious, which was Chris's aunt's friend from church. And Chris's aunt's friend from church said that Jericho would beat the shit out of Cody at Full Gear. It was hilarious. We have a women's tag match. Emy Sakura and Jamie Hayter versus Riho and Shanna. I've made my piece about how I feel about AEW's women's division and the lack of effort that they've put into it. But the best work in this match came from Shanna and Hayter. When they were in the ring together, it was crisp, it looked good, both of them can work. But when Riho and Emy were in the ring, Rio's offense just looks so terrible. It's unconvincing, and it's not just because she's small. Like, I get that she's small, and, she's more than small. She's tiny. But nothing she does looks convincing. If you can be small, but if you're good at wrestling, you can still make your stuff look legitimate. Riho just doesn't do that for me. Everything she does just looks weak, and the people that sell for her look even worse for selling this non-contact offense. Anyway, Emy pins Riho with a roll-up ahead of their match at Full Gear, which apparently is a thing. There will be a women's title match, Riho versus Emy Sakura. Yay, I guess. I mean, whatever. There's also Bea Priestley versus Britt Baker I just saw when I looked at the wiki for Full Gear, even though they've done nothing on TV to push that. Like, the last thing they did, I think, was at All Out in that Battle Royal, where they did the whole deal with Priestley and Britt Baker. But since then, they haven't done anything with those two, and now they just have a match. So, like I said, not a lot of focus on the women's division. Then we had Shawn Spears versus Brandon Cutler. The first time we've seen Brandon Cutler since the first show when he and MJF had a match that went horribly awry. But in this case, we have the chairman, Shawn Spears, defeating Brandon Cutler quite easily, which is good, because like I said, I don't feel like AEW enough gets convincing wins for people, so I like that Shawn Spears got a convincing win here. He would try to beat up Cutler with the chair after the match, but Joey Janela would run in and chase away Spears. I guess that has been set up on AEW Dark, which I haven't watched the last few episodes of, so I wouldn't really know, but either way, Spears and Janela keeps whatever they're doing with them moving, and for Cutler, this is just the role he's in right now, and That's all we can really do with him. And just to talk about Shawn Spears for a minute, like, when he first joined AEW, I was really into and interested in what they were going to do with him. But then he had the match with Cody, he lost, and since then he hasn't done anything. They're still running with this chairman gimmick, which I feel like it's run its course at this point. I don't feel like there's much else to do with it, especially because he's not feuding with Cody anymore. He's out in the open, and he's still doing this chairman stuff. I think there needs to be some sort of evolution for Spears and his character. Him and Tully, like, I really like Tully as a manager. I think that he and Spears can be a good tandem if they get more intrigue and interest in Spears. Then the main event was Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus Sammy Gueverra and Chris Jericho. Fun main event tag match. A little too much interference, which I feel like is going to be an ongoing theme for these Jericho matches. But Hagar came in and laid someone out on the outside, which wasn't even the finish. It just led into a commercial break. And then the finish is going to come with Hangman on the apron, possibly setting up for a buckshot lariat, but Pac runs in with the ref distracted by Jericho. Pac hits a low blow on Page, and that allows Jericho to hit the Judas effect on Page in the ring, pitting Adam Page. Jericho pins Page for the second time, at least this time with the help of Pac. And after this was when shit just got wild, when the Inner Circle try to beat on Page. In comes Cody, Hagar and Jericho bail, and Cody takes out Gueverra, who was still in the ring. MJF comes in with the chair, lays out Hagar from behind to then hit Jericho with the chair, feed him into the ring to Cody. Cody hits the crossroads on Jericho. But that would not be the end of things, as Moxley would come in through the crowd with a barbed wire bat looking for a fight with Omega. The distraction of Moxley allowed Jericho to get back in things and take out Cody, as Hagar and Jericho are fighting Cody and MJF on the outside. Omega and Mox are in the ring, both with their barbed wire weapons. But before they can do anything, Santana and Ortiz come in and jump them. Then the Young Bucks come in to save them. Then eventually Ortiz and Santana get the upper hand on the Young Bucks. But then Omega and Moxley work together to take out Santana and Ortiz, but then go right back to fighting each other. Everyone's fighting. Nick Jackson does a dive off the Titantron, taking out everyone. And the show just ends with everyone fighting each other. Which, good stuff. It's kind of copy and paste from what we've seen these shows end with before, but I like the way it laid out all the storylines for the go-home show going into the pay-per-view on Saturday. Thought they did a good job with all that. And just keeps the wheels turning for everything going into the pay-per-view on Saturday. I thought this was a solid show. And, not much else to say on that. Kind of a quick review, but don't really have a ton else to say on it. I thought this was a fun watch. The match quality was good. Kept things rolling. And we'll have predictions going out tomorrow for the AEW Full Gear show. And with that, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll be back next time. Thank you.